If you've got friends who are fans of the New York Metropolitans, well, you might want to check on them because the Mets hit a new rock bottom for the 2023 season as they now have lost 7 games in a row following a 14-7 loss to the Pirates in Pittsburgh on Friday night. Let's talk about what's been going wrong for the Mets and if they can turn it around with the host of the Subway to Shea podcast. That would be Anthony Rivera. Anthony, I feel like I said this to you last time. I hope you are doing much better than the Mets are.
Yeah, I am. I'm worried about the Met fans. I know someone on Twitter said, can the bottom drop more? And the answer is yes, it can always drop more. So there's never rock bottom for this team.
Yeah, sometimes people say it can't get worse. No, it can. It definitely can. And Mets fans found that out on Friday night. So, Anthony, the Mets, they're anything but amazing right now, right? The team has lost an embarrassing 7 games in a row. The question is very simple here. What is wrong with the Metropolitans right now?
No consistency, right? Nowhere. Not in the lineup, not in the pitching rotation, not in the bullpen. They're not putting teams away. There's so many mental errors. The fundamentals aren't there like they were last year. You know, you look at Lindor's error, opened up the floodgates again with Tyler McGill, and it looked like Little League play to me yesterday against Pittsburgh. Last year, Buck had them focused. They capitalized on other teams' errors, and they were fundamentally sound. And it seems like this year, it's a role reversal. It's the opposite. The other teams are taking advantage of the Mets.
Yeah, and that's what we have been seeing. Now, the Mets, they have the highest payroll in baseball, but they're 4 games under 500, 30-34 heading into Saturday's game with the Pirates. This is a big question among Mets fans. Who is to blame for this disappointing first 64 games for New York?
I mean, it's a little blame goes everywhere, right? You start with Billy Epler at the top because Billy Epler has put this roster together, and it seems like he's put it together poorly, especially with the way the bullpen has been set up. Like, I know they're getting taxed, but, you know, every night one of these pitchers comes in, I'm not confident that they're going to get the outs needed to win a game. And we saw that against the Atlanta Braves, where they had 2 3-run leads in the first 2 games of the series, and they had multiple run leads in the third game, and they blew those games. Outside of that Toronto series, the first 2 games where they only scored 1 run. Outside of that, those 2 games, they've scored 4 runs twice. They've scored 7 runs, 5 runs, and 10 runs. You look at those runs, they should be winning those games, and they aren't. Also, Buck Showalter also needs to take some of the blame as well. I know a lot of fans want him fired. I don't think that's the right move right now. But, you know, him setting up the lineup has not helped at all. Continuously going after Daniel Vogelback and bringing him into the lineup is not what they should be doing. There should be more playing time. And I'm hoping now that, you know, with Pete Alonso being out, that Mark Vientos gets the playing time that he should be, to see if we got anything there, whether he can be in this lineup and be a DH or as a, you know, somewhat of a trade bait for the trade deadline.
Now, you mentioned Pete Alonso with a team announced on Friday that the first baseman who leads the majors in home runs, he's going to be headed to the injury list, expected to miss anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. How do the Mets survive this stretch, without their best home run hitter?
Well, they're going to have to definitely play the kids a lot more, give them more playing time, move Francisco Alvarez, leave him towards the higher part of the lineup, whether it's between 2 and 4. I think he's going to be that power bat they needed. Like I said earlier, let Mark Vientos continue to get playing time, because he's going to need to see if we can use him for the future as a DH or if he's going to have to be traded. And, you know, most importantly, this is Lindor's opportunity to change the narrative around him. A lot of fans are, you know, frustrated with his play. Obviously, he's making over $300 million a year. I'm a huge Lindor fan, huge Lindor supporter. I've supported him, you know, through the 3 years. But, you know, this is a time for him to step up and take leadership role into another level with Pete Alonso being gone. They need Francisco Lindor of last season to come into this season and step up his game.
Definitely need to see that happen if you are a Mets fan. And lastly, Anthony, during this slump, the Mets, as you mentioned before, they've been finding a variety of ways to lose. How does this team end the losing streak in Pittsburgh on Saturday and find a way to win?
Well, there's one thing that, sets this team and gets them in order. It's the starting pitching, right? I think Kodai Senga is going to go tonight, and the Mets need length from their starting pitchers. We're talking about 6 innings, that would be the minimum for me. 7 innings would be great, but they need to get the bullpen rest, especially after last night. Verlander not going well in Atlanta was a big problem. Scherzer kind of went a little bit long, but, fell apart and gave up the runs. They need the starting pitching to set the tone for the offense, for the bullpen, and that's going to get this Mets team back on track. And if they can be consistent, that could be a big helper and a big difference moving forward for this team.
We will see on Saturday if the Mets can end this 7-game losing streak and get back on track, as Anthony said. That is Anthony Rivera, the great host of the Subway Touche podcast. Check him out there. Anthony, thank you for the time. Glad you were doing better than the Mets, and we will see if they can turn things around.
I appreciate you, Dexter. Hopefully next time it's on a winning side.
That would be nice for a change. That would be nice. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.